man, I seen that dude eyes was rolling in the back of his head. Like I'm seeing all the different things on the internet and stuff like that. I'm seeing everybody complaining, everybody talking about how long, the count was, or why he didn't immediately start counting, and different things like that. You know what I mean? And this is boxing. You just have to you roll with the punches, man. Like.
Tyson Fury confirms that he's going to be facing Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder. I'm so frustrated. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the Super Chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, and the Patreon family. We working. Now, Tyson Fury was on stage and he said the rematch is on. He has signed to rematch Deontay Wilder February 22nd. He basically said save the date. He said this time in the rematch, he's not going in after a 3-year layoff. He hasn't been abusing too much alcohol. That's what he said. And he's more active and this, that, and the third. So he's going to knock Deontay Wilder the fuck out. That's what he says. So this is good that he's announcing the fight. I'm glad to hear it. Obviously, from what it sounds like, the game plan, there's a little bit more that has to happen for the rematch to actually take place. But it's good that he's confirming it, because Tyson Fury, he's pretty much an enigmatic character, and he's all over the place, where he'll say one thing and then he'll say something else, and it's hard to follow if you're a boxing fan, or if you do like I do and cover boxing routinely. For example, Wilder posted this a while ago. He didn't give an actual date or whatever, but we knew the targeted month was February. So Wilder, on Joshua Ruiz, Andy Ruiz Jr. fight week, he announced that he was going to fight Luis Ortiz. And everyone's like, oh, okay, cool. Then a couple days go by, then Deontay Wilder added. He says, not only have I signed on to fight Luis King Kong Ortiz, but I'm also going to fight against Tyson Fury after that. He said, I'm not looking past Ortiz. I know he's dangerous, but that's the game plan. And we knew the target date was February. And it was weird because we never heard Tyson Fury's team just come out and say it. Because they had the Tyson Fury versus Tom Schwartz fight. Bob Arum basically confirmed it in interviews. He did several interviews and he alluded to it and says, "Oh, I'm not gonna say that Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder won't fight, but I won't say they will fight." Bob Arum did that whole thing, and I'm like, okay, it's weird that they're not, corroborating what Wilder's saying. But obviously they didn't want to look too much past their upcoming fight, be disrespectful to Tom Schwartz, even though we knew what would happen in the Tom Schwartz fight. So nonetheless, I'm glad, I'm happy, I'm glad that Tyson Fury has no excuses, even though he's making excuses. Like it's really brief, but what he's doing is he's saying he's setting it up, saying like he's new and improved and better, and has all these excuses as to why the first fight took place and looked like it did. But the thing is, he's like, oh, I'm not coming off a 3-year layoff, I'm not coming off of drug abuse, and I'm not drinking too much alcohol, and I haven't lost 150 pounds. But why did you even fight Deontay Wilder under those circumstances to begin with? Because boxing is unforgiving, so you can't really do something and then make an excuse as to why you did it. You get what I'm saying? Like, once you sign on the dotted line and say you're fit for combat, and the commission approves you and suggests that you're fit for combat, then it's go time and it's show time. So after the fact, I don't want to hear a bunch of, oh, my shoulder hurts, or I had to lose too much weight. Every fighter, no fighter really goes into fights 100%. different things happened in camp. You know, they said Joshua was hurt in sparring, maybe had a concussion beforehand, different things like that. But you know, if you're approved to fight, then that's just what it is. So I don't really like that aspect from Tyson Fury, how he's using all these things that were personal choices, really, like to gain a lot of weight, to abuse substances that he had no business abusing, knowing that he was getting drug tested. And then he's using that and saying like, oh yeah, but now I'm back, so it's going to be different. The other thing is, you got to look at what he's saying. I never really seen a point in the first fight with Wilder Fury where he hurt Wilder. You know, if anything, Wilder, he needs to work on his accuracy from the first fight, and he was missing. So I think you seen Wilder, who had to push through a little bit of fatigue. But I never seen like a combination that Tyson Fury laced Wilder with and he was just, you know, rocked. You know, there may be a punch that got his attention, something like that, but I never really seen a hurt Wilder. So that's a bold claim, saying he's gonna knock Wilder the fuck out, because if you go back to the first fight, which is the reason, of course, we're gonna go back to the first fight, because the first fight is actual fact. The first fight is actual history. The first fight actually happened. You know, so as a reference point, the only thing we can look at in our projections and predictions is the fighters' patterns, history, what's happened. And you know, in the first fight, it was Tyson Fury who was on the mat twice, not Deontay Wilder. So I'm not saying it's impossible. You know, it's boxing, but if anyone's getting knocked out based on how Wilder's looked and continued to look, it seems like probability would suggest that if this fight ends by knockout, then it would be at the hands of Wilder. If the fight goes to the cards, you know, then there's a likelihood, if there is no knockdowns or knockouts, then there's a likelihood that Tyson Fury would be the victor. But, you know, I don't really see Tyson Fury knocking Wilder the fuck out and all that. If anything, he has a chance and opportunity to maybe outbox him. But I think the momentum still shifts with Wilder. And if you look at it, Wilder is fighting the better competition. You know, despite the activity from Tyson Fury, he just fought a no-hoper in Tom Schwartz. Wilder is reported to be fighting, you know, Luis Ortiz after fighting his mandatory, a 6'7" Olympian who had 4 wins in a row since the Joshua loss, gained experience in the Joshua loss, and he had 3 knockouts out of those 4 fights. In Dominic Brazil, Wilder destroyed him in the first round, you know. And now if he fights Luis Ortiz and beats him again, and especially if he does it easier, then his confidence should grow right there with that. So, you know, based on watching Tyson Fury's career, he didn't stop Klitschko, who's been stopped before. I don't really see him stopping Wilder, but, you know, it's boxing, to each his own. Some people didn't see Andy Ruiz stopping Joshua, but me, I always seen that as a possibility, and I think that stems more from people underrating Andy Ruiz and not really breaking down the fight, body shaming and looking at body types more so than, you know, actual skills in the stylistic matchup. So either way, I'm glad that the fight is, you know, being talked about and announced. It's a bit shaky or scary because they got to get past, you know, potentially Gerald Miller or whoever for Tyson Fury, and Wilder is supposed to. They haven't announced it yet, but it's supposed to fight Luis King Kong Ortiz. So it's going to be interesting. And, man, it's going to be real interesting. And I just hope nothing gets in the way. Let me know what you guys think. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. If you're new, consider subscribing. We working.
So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.